Hello folks. In this video, let's look at how we can write an app script that will allow us to calculate mileage between 2 points by creating a custom function that we can call mileage. And we can then use that function in our spreadsheet to calculate the distance between two different locations automatically by using the custom function. Let's get started. First of all, I did sheets.new, so let's name this sheet mileage script, because we'll attach this script to a spreadsheet. We'll get started by opening up AppScript, and I like to highlight all of the data that's in here. I can do Command A on a Mac, delete that. Let's go ahead and name this project mileage function, and let's rename it. Now, I've already written the script and I have it on a clipboard, so I'll go ahead and just do a Command V and paste. Let's take a look at this script. I've added this add params functions here in the top, or this information. This lets you, this information, when you type it this way, brings up these pieces, the cell reference start. We'll see that when we use the function, it's the information that Google pops up when you have a function. So that's why we've included this information here in the green. And I've gone ahead and written the function. I'm calling it mileage, and we are using the start point, which we have identified here, and the end point. And then here's our variable. The directions is equal to we're using the Maps API, and we're getting the start point, end point, and we're just looking at the driving mode. We're not walking, and we're getting the direction. So this is the maps, using maps to get directions. And then when I started using this, I was having some issues with either really short distances or distances over 1,000 miles. And so what we're doing is taking this and we're doing some work on this route and distance so that we could make sure that we were not getting problems with the distances. I think I explained in this comment, if we had a distance that was only 7 miles, it would, or 70 miles, for instance, it would display as 702, and that obviously wasn't going to work. And so we had to use this regex here to go ahead and find and replace those bits of information so that we could get this to calculate the way we actually wanted it to calculate. So I have the function. Let's go ahead and save it. And I will I'll, be able to include this function in the notes to the video, so you'd be able to copy this. And then let's go ahead and run this function the first time. The reason I need to do that, I think it'll error out because we don't really have any start and end points, but I have to authorize the script the first time. So, well, okay, it didn't require me to authorize. Usually it does. So here we have this script, and now I should be able to come over here and type in the function mileage equals. So you can see this custom function that I've just written in my script here. Now when I start typing, it shows up as a function. And notice, if I open this arrow key, notice this mileage start point, end point. That's what we defined here, start point, end point. So our custom function is giving us a start point and our end point. What I'm going to do is we're going to start at B1 and we're going to end at C1, and it'll calculate mileage. So mileage, B1, C1, and let's end that. And we're going to get an error because there is no information in here. But if I were to, for instance, type in New York, let's do NY to LA. Let's see what happens. 2,778 miles. So I have a function that I just wrote using AppScript that lets me calculate mileage between two locations. Now, if I wanted to copy this down, there's a couple things I could do. Let's actually do this. Insert a row above, let's type our mileage, and let's type begin, and let's type end. So what we did here is we've added a header, and then we have our formula here. Now, if I copy this formula down, I'm going to get error messages. So let's solve that by doing if error and see if we can't get rid of that. So if we get an error, then we're not going to want to have it write anything. So if I copy that new formula down with the if error message, okay, I get rid of my if error messages, and yet the formula is still in there. So let's see what happens if I add information. I want to know Miami to LA. And there we go. It automatically pops in there. And I want to know Chicago to Milwaukee. And we should get that 92.2 miles. So we can see that the function is working. We do have to copy it down. Let's go ahead and do a couple things. We could highlight this and do begin end. I could get rid of some extra columns. I'm going to go and delete those columns so we don't scroll back and forth. And again, we can see our formula. I would have to copy this down a whole bunch of rows to make sure that it's working. I tried to do it with an array formula, but it doesn't seem to work as an array formula. So I've copied down 20 rows. I should be able to do Portland, Oregon to, let's see, Miami. That's quite a long ways. What do we get? 3,257 miles. So a real handy script. Again, let's take a look back at it. We have a custom mileage function that we've created that lets us calculate mileage by using a function. Should be real handy to add to some of your spreadsheets.